Here we go again, boys. Welcome one and all to sunny Tolifordum and another Total War Rome 2 siege battle, where we'll see a coalition of Carthage, Rome, and Seleucids attack Athens, Arevaci, and Macedon. My name is Kander, and as always, get ready for a competitive siege filled with cinematic scenes, epic melee, close-up artillery shots, brutal cavalry charges, useful Rome 2 tips and tricks, and commentary and analysis of the battle as it rages on. Let me give you one advice. Do not miss the end of this battle. It's a real thriller ending, which will see generals and their companions duking it out for the victory. Alright, let us get into the army comps. And we got Carthage with 2 noble fighters, a decent amount of armor with 3 Samnites and 4 Libyans, a couple of Scoots, 3 Cretans as their only missile. We got Rome with very heavy armor. We got Armored Legionaires and Principe Corps with a couple of Hastati and 4 very deadly Syrians. These Armored Legionaires are gonna be key. Seleucids are bringing a Silvershield Pike as a wildcard pick and a Silvershield Swordsman. 7 Thorax as their medium infantry, 4 Syrians, and a medium cav ballista combo. Athens are bringing Hoplites for days, Thorax and veteran super heavy Hoplites, 3 Cretans and 1 Rhodian. These troops are gonna stay for a while. Arevaci brings what Arevaci always brings. Scoots and 1 noble fighter general, some Iberian swords, and 2 Balearic slingers and 2 Iberian slingers. Pila will be key. Macedon finally with a very elite heavy army comp, 4 royal Peltasts and only 4 Thorax and 1 Thracian warrior on top of that. 3 Cretans and 1 regular slinger. I hope you enjoy, and as always, I'd love to get your feedback when you're done watching, so make sure you leave a comment, and if you like the video and want to do your part, tap that thumbs up button also. Welcome once again to Tolifordum, which is of course one of the classic barbarian settlements in Rome 2. The attackers have chosen to set up in the northwestern corner of this map, a map that has many different layers to it. The defenders have opted to skip the first layer, which would be the walls here, and have instead moved back to the second layer. This map is an interesting map because it offers many different routes of attack that needs to be synchronized, and a pretty epic last stand up in the victory point, which is located in the little Stonehenge here. The defenders have opted to leave this hill undefended, except for 1 Iberian spears that is set up in a way that leads me to believe that they're hoping to get some nice back shots from these archers. These Cretan archers positioned here also tells me that they're probably going to try to contest this hill from down below, which will be a challenge because of the height difference, but ultimately, since they have the initial position and the attackers have to move up into positions, they could be able to scare them off potentially. Otherwise, attackers coming up here with their archers are gonna enable them to get nice side shots into this choke point, the center choke point. And if they do get those nice side shots there, and these Thorax hoplites start falling in droves, then defenders have no choice but to back off and move their choke point further back and give up more of this settlement to the attackers. We got a Scorpion that's going to look down this road here. I think it's a very good call. With the range of this Scorpion, it can shoot troops all the way over here. That means the attackers cannot set anything of value up in this area here where the Scorpion can shoot. We have a couple of Royal Peltasts saved for late game, and a Thracian Warrior and a Slinger also saved for very late game. So the attackers are gonna land on the walls and slowly try to move up towards these choke points. When they are moving up, they're gonna be facing a heavy archer disadvantage from the beginning. Unless attackers are able to get their archers up close or without being focused. And then from there, they can fire back at any archers that would be standing here. But there are a lot of slingers too that can get in on archers and have an upper hand against them, especially the Balearic slingers. So again, it's a very hard map to attack for attackers, this. And this is a game from our Discord, Cast This Die, in which we have rules that don't have any form of keep camping allowed. So even if the defenders wanted to, they could not set up their units in this final keep, so to speak. So the rules are 1 artillery, 1 pike, 4 missile troops per faction. And that means defending artillery, they can only have 1 each on the walls. Attackers can only have 1 artillery each. All these players are playing together on a daily basis. They're communicating in separate voice channels for this match, but they generally know each other's play styles pretty well and are all very adept players at this game. So we'll be able to see some decent tactics, some solid teamwork, and hopefully a lot of communication and dynamic gameplay in this, what looks to be a very epic siege battle. Time is usually a factor on this map, and you do want to move as fast as you possibly can in each segment for each choke point that you face. We're seeing a bit of a coordinated landing attempt by the attackers, which is a great idea. And normally, in this particular case, it wouldn't have made much of a difference. So they should just land as soon as they possibly can here, in order to advance to the choke points ASAP. We do have Athenian ballista firing right now, which I would say is still a little bit premature considering this excellent positioning they have. But there are going to be some pretty big blobs over here. So let's see if they actually end up getting into them. Does look like they did get some Romans, not these guys. No. Oof. Armored Legionaires are ducking these shots. Thorax swords. I feel like some of these should have at least died by now, but they seem to actually manage to survive every single one. We have 1 Thorax that's died, like 7 of them, but that could be arrow towers too. That one definitely got clipped. So we have 1 Armored Legionnaire guy that's definitely paid the price for the artillery here. And now these Thorax are in trouble because these artillery shots are just smacking right into them. Oh boy. Now we have auto fire and manual fire, which means these shots are going to come in fast and loose. And we are seeing tons of kills on the Thorax, and wow, great artillery shots coming in here right now. Holy smokes. Seleucids, no. Oh no. Okay, this is just move your troops. Move your troops. I guess it's better if they're spread out, but oh no. Yeah, I think he's just taking it at this point. He can't move them too much because they'll blob up again. But that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt a lot, and especially when you can't use your ballista. He's trying to get some shots in, some exploratory shots. Do have the Thorax coming into an Iberian spearman up here. Spearman got a charge, or I got a Pila volley out, and now we see the Cretan archers getting back shots into these Thorax. Very smart, setting a unit up here to make sure that these guys will have to face that way and thus be shot in the back from these archers. It doesn't look like they're committing to that though, and these Thorax are still gonna win that and be able to turn around fairly fast. This artillery keeps getting shots, and we're up to 87 kills. And although that's not the highest number, I think they still have ammo, and either way, the Seleucid player took a tumble with quite a few Thorax that lost quite a few soldiers. And in a battle like this, every soldier is going to matter. So we also see the Macedon artillery getting in on the Roman troops that are advancing. We also see this lone Scutari getting trapped by what looks like 2 armored legionnaires. I should also add that the factions in this battle have all been rolled by a random roll bot that we have. And so the bot gives you a faction, and depending on how good the factions are, we split up the teams so that we have usually not the best factions on defense, but on offense or on attack, in order to make it a little bit more even. So in this case, we do have a roam, which we usually don't see in multiplayer games, because we usually don't allow it, since they are very unbalanced compared to the rest. But with the random rolls, we allow it, and it's gonna go and attack every time. So the factions have been random rolled, and the attackers and defenders have been split up depending on how good the factions are. So the defenders have a disadvantage not only in the amount of money they can spend, but also in the factions that are combined on the defender side. And the Scutari is still alive, but it's only killed 8, so I don't know if it's unnecessary sacrifice here. I mean, the intent is noble here, because they are setting up side shots on the armored legionnaires from these Balearic Slingers, and but the Scutari isn't going to survive long enough for it to actually be worth it, I think. And we have a Libyan Hoplite about to explore what's going on here. This choke point has been moved back, which probably means the ballista got in a little bit. Thorax Hoplites are ultimately going to struggle against these armored legionnaires, but they're going to last for a long while. Look at that melee defense in a hoplite wall. Since they cannot get any side charges on them here, they're going to last for quite a while. But we have seen also how very good these armored legionnaires are at killing. The melee attack of 58, this much armor, they're not going to lose many troops on. Rome is taking a beating up here now with the Armored Legionnaires struggling. This Chokepoint still offers excellent support opportunities for the defenders, and that they are going to want to hold it. And along with this wall that is now opened up as another flank, where Samnites have landed and are now charging into Iberian swords that are trying to fall back, because honestly that's not the best engagements they can hope for. Iberian swords do want to get all their Pila out, and they have not done that yet. So we have a Samnite warrior setting up, trying to probably Pila also. Scutari going to charge into it, and another Iberian swords here, who's, by the looks of it, is having a great time against the Libyan Hoplite. We still hear artillery shots coming in here, being really brutal for these units that are standing here with artillery and archer shots coming in. And now we have Slingers also, just dumping into this Armored Legionnaire and Thorax sword combo from the attackers. Meanwhile, we're seeing some Syrian heavy archer fire coming in on Balearic Slingers, and these Balearic Slingers can probably do really well against them. And we also see the Syrians getting in on the Cretans, and now as the Balearic Slingers have started shooting back, these Syrians are going to start losing, so they are moving back also, which is a good play by attackers. They try to get in there, but yeah, they cannot stay in that engagement. So, oh, I guess they are moving another unit up there, and it could be detrimental for that Syrian. Now the Cretans have noticed they have yet to have lost a single unit. So there we go, first Cretan blood. And the Syrian archers are now going to get focused down. They're going to also want to move back. This one with 94 left is now moving up here. Falling back, they lost 8 on that one, and they lost 26 on that one. As I said earlier, this is an extremely easy position to defend with your archers, although I would not recommend having Thorax swords inside of the archers. I would follow those units back so that they don't interfere with any firing, but it seems to have gone well anyway. Meanwhile, this Samnite is really not doing well, because it's been bogged down by a Scutari, while an Iberian swords has just been able to Pila now up to 40 kills, which has been entirely this Samnite. And the Samnite is now routing, not presenting a further threat to this defending army. And the Libyan Hoplites never stood a chance, but they have gotten 55 kills against the Iberian swords. It's pretty impressive. While we see a Thorax on the defenders struggling a little bit, and we also see a hole here that can be utilized, but it's also faced by three defending units now that are going to be able to peel into sides. Yes, the Scutari is getting some really nice shots to that Thorax. And we see the Iberian and the Scutari getting thrown into a Thorax sword fresh that has not been able to peel yet, neither has this one. And they are now setting up to perhaps do that, since they are having a little bit of a gap set up over here. Very strange that Seleucids have not been peeling here by the looks of it, and also that they're advancing as far up as they are in this case, because now they're surrounded by multiple units that have moved in from the defenders from all sides possible. They have not been able to get up here because it looks like the defenders have done an excellent job at just shooting this Thorax swords, just absolutely slaying it up there, along with any archers that are trying to move up probably. So now the attackers have tried to set up archers that are going to shoot over here, which has actually worked out really nicely, and they've managed to kill quite a few Balearic Slingers before defenders noticed. We have another unit of Thorax that has killed the Iberian Spears that was up there before, and just Just trying to probably Pila down on these Balearic Slingers as well. So we still have Cretans that are now moved so far back, and it is entirely because they're nuking anything that comes up here. We see Syrian with 112 has tried, but decided not to a couple of times. Another Syrian from Rome coming up here. They don't have any great targets right now, and we see another 2 Thorax Hoplites being committed into this choke point that they're just not giving up an inch of. The Scutari is holding along with a very depleted Thorax, but they're gonna soon be exchanged by 2 fresh units that are gonna set up quite a wall there. As we now see more troops from Carthage landing, we have a fresh Samnite and a fresh Libyan infantry backing up the poor Seleucid Thorax that has gotten plenty of kills, so still has been doing pretty good. And we also see the Cretans trying to even out the odds a little bit here and getting in on the Scutari. Not getting that many kills by the looks of it. Some decent ones, but depending on how much ammo they spend on that. Thorax swords are getting charged by Iberians. We also see general abilities being used here. It's great to see. Battle Rhythm has second win on the Scutari that has been doing pretty good, helping them out to chew down these Thorax swords. And that way also see Slingers getting into Syrian heavies and Cretans starting to focus them down, and these Syrians are gonna want to move back because they are not gonna win that archer engagement. 3 Cretans focusing down on them, although the Romans did try to counter from here and scared them away actually. So I think Syrians can move up again, and the attackers could start asserting an archer dominance from an advanced position, which would be very ideal in this case, so that they could actually break through this choke point here. And this one here is not looking too great. Another Roman unit, but 170 kills, respectable. They're doing what they need to do here, but it's still going to take them a long while. And they are exhausted, both of them, so I'd probably move in a different unit there a long time ago to have some more luck against these fresh Thorax Hoplites. And yes, the attackers have now moved up the Syrians and are now asserting some form of ranged dominance in this area we have here. Are the Cretans going to be able to get in and scare off those Syrians? We definitely have counterfire from over here. These Cretans are getting unbelievable angles over this big hill and are doing a great job getting into these Syrian heavies. We have one Cretan that is getting return fire on it, but the Syrians have opted to back out of there, and although they have been establishing their presence over here, so they can now fire into any enemy archers that would like to get back shots into this choke point. And the fresh troops from Carthage certainly has played a role in them establishing a little bit more of a bubble. This Thorax is breaking now, so the defenders have a new choke point. We have a full-on archer engagement between the Cretans, currently winning against these Syrians by the looks of it. One Syrian at 71 and 105. These Syrians are firing to 79, 82. They're going to do a lot better against the Cretans than these Syrians will against the Athenian Cretans. The Athenian Cretans are down to 84 and 77 kills. They're not moving. The Roman archers did move back, which means this Syrian archer from Seleucids is all alone against 3 Cretans, who are now going to take advantage of that and all get in on it. And we have 47 left. It's going to start breaking soon, while the Balearic Slingers are taking fire from Carthage Cretans and from the Roman Syrian archer here. They are trying to push back archers from this area here, but that's going to have to be the Macedon Cretans doing that ultimately. And as expected, the Syrian is now breaking with 50 kills. These Cretans, although they are moving back, have done a good job in pushing back these Seleucid archers. And Seleucid looking like their archers have taken quite a tumble here, with 70 on one, 50 on one, 22 on one, and 82 on the fourth. And the Cretans from Macedon have now seen the weakness that is the attacking archers standing here. And if the attacking archers aren't going to be able to react in time and get all of the units up here, then these units are all toast. And it does look like indeed they are, although they might get a Cretan with them at least. So that Roman Syrian is now gone. Another Syrian is going to get focused down now, and it's probably not going to last for very long. But as I said, Cretan at least is going down with them, as we see a Royal Peltast in action over here now. And the general moving up, also getting in on the action. And on these battles, we have a rule that says you can't general snipe. So you can't start shooting a general that isn't in battle. But once they're in battle, like this one is right now, it's peeling into the sights of the attacking troops. It is fair game to shoot it. So these Cretans down here could at this point start shooting into the general, who's of course giving a little morale boost and able to do their general abilities on the front line here. And Macedon has started to really try to get in on this choke point in an aggressive way. The Royal Peltasts here are slaying Libyan infantry and Samnites by the look of it, but they do have to fall back because these Cretans are able to compete against them in a very good angle there. Now we do see Balearic Slingers keep getting excellent kills here. 147 so far, and that's not going to stop. We've also seen the Syrians from Seleucids temporarily scaring away the Cretans, which is very impressive considering the numbers, but now are getting focused down by the Athenian Cretans that are looking like they're going to be the dominant force here on the southern side of the battle. And they have repelled the Seleucid archers effectively. They have stopped them from going up here completely just from below. Something that I didn't really think they were going to be able to do, but they have done to a devastating effect. And these Thorax Hoplites are really holding on well and are not letting go of this choke point. Once again, a choke point they really need to defend, and it's a lot easier to defend once you don't have any enemy archers up here. So these Cretans are super crucial in this defense as far as pushing back the attacking archers. We do have 2 fresh archers from Rome that have not been engaged yet, but these Seleucid Syrians are going out with fairly low amount of kills, which is going to be a big blow for the attacking armies here. Big reinforcement by Arevaci and by Athens coming in, helping Macedon out and beefing up this choke point quite a lot, which means that they are also not keen on letting that go. So the defenders have essentially moved up their reserves in both places. The question is how long they'll fight in these choke points. How long before the great migration back to the next level of choke points happens? The attackers will need to, yes, as we see now, the Roman Syrians getting in, getting aggressive. This is exactly what needs to be happening. There is an opportunity here for their defenders to get in on them and focus them down from two sides, if they are coordinated enough to manage to do that. So right now the Roman Syrians are doing a great job getting plenty of kills into these Athenian Cretans that are now trying to dodge or at least move around to get better angles, better positions. But the Macedon Cretans are not yet moving in to get in on that engagement. We also see a general bodyguard from Rome coming up. They have dismounted from their horses and are now up there to give general abilities. Roman archers are starting to bleed a little bit here, but though is the Athenian Cretan archers, and so are the Cretans, and we finally also see the Macedon Cretans coming in and providing that crucial flanking fire on this choke point here, but surprisingly not the Assyrians, who pose a pretty big threat in here. So these Syrians have been able to keep firing at the Cretans, who are desperately trying to dodge here. There's one with 65 kills, 60 of them left. That's quite a lot of ammo still, and it is being focused down with 47 left now, and these archers are pulling back to get out of range from these Syrian archers that are getting some really good shots there. And the Macedon Cretans have not really done anything to help from their pretty good vantage point over here. So bit of a lack of communications from the defenders there, as we see them keep trying to get into these Thorax Hoplites with 155 kills against Armored Legionaires, mind you, and Scutari, and we now see Pikes come up there. We've probably been chewed down by Thorax Hoplite as well, along with the Silvershield swords. Now that's more of a unit to put up here. The Silvershield sword, it's going to be able to chew through these Thorax Hoplites a lot easier than a Armored Legionary or a Principe. The Principe is definitely not a bad choice with a really good melee attack. But the Armored Legionnaire is more of a tanky unit that will take a lot longer to chew down heavy units such as the Thorax Hoplite. And the Roman archers are now starting to suffer a little bit here. The Athenian Cretans are moving around, ultimately distracting them enough for the other ranged units like Balearic Slingers in this case to get in and chew down the and really grind down these Syrians that are excellent, that have excellent armor, but against Slingers these Syrians are not going to be able to stand up very well. And yet again the defenders have managed to push back all the attacking archers. We see the Seleucid archers being back in fetal position on the wall, away from the madness, away from the range of the attacking missile units. Balearic Slingers establishing a little bit more of a dominance here. They're going to get into these Syrians again, is my guess. Syrians better shoot back while they're showing their backs. But alas, it seems like they are not doing that. And we see the Silvershield having a great time with 50 kills and barely any losses. And now we have Battle Rhythm and Whip popped here. And of course we have no Pila coming in. Although these Iberians might have some ammo, they are not using it. But Thorax Hoplites, the one drawback there with them is that they do not have any Pila. The Whip is going away and it is being second winded now. So great job with the general abilities at least, and now this Silvershield is gonna keep going and is now engaged with two Thorax Hoplites in Hoplite wall. The Silvershield looks like it's moving back a little for some reason. It's getting focused down a little bit by these Iberian swords that are now started firing finally, so maybe they decided that it has killed enough for now and they're gonna move it back into safety. We do have Cretans coming in now on these noble fighters. An excellent an excellent target. And also over the hill yet again into these Roman Syrians that are still they still have some ammo left, although not a lot, but these two depleted units should not be able to outcompete pretty sturdy Syrian with probably more ammo than them. We'll see how that goes. This is going to be a pretty important for holding down this choke point for the defenders to win this engagement. Let's see what the Athenians are doing. The Athenians are falling back where they are going to get some better angles, but that also means that they're committed over there now. They're not going to be able to go back. They're going to try to get in angles like this. And the Roman Syrians are currently mostly focused on getting into that choke point by the looks of it, because they're gonna have some issues if they're gonna get shot from two angles here. Although these Macedon archers are not seeming like they want to get in on that at all. Meanwhile, we have more action over here with a fresh Royal Peltasts. 60 kills, it's barely lost any. The Noble Fighters with 133, they've lost half that unit. It's probably due to this supporting archer fire by the Cretan archers of Carthage. So great job, Cretans. Great job, Carthage. And Libyans, fresh Libyan that is trying to get in on the veteran Hoplites. They have been doing an excellent job holding this choke point down. They are a very sturdy unit and they will hold for a long while. These attacking Thorax and Principes are struggling because they are under missile fire. They are going to get a really nasty charge in the sides of them by this Royal Peltast, who by the looks of it is getting Pila really hard by these Hastati that have set up in an excellent counter position here. And there's a lot of Pila on the sides there on those shields. Luckily it was the shield side, otherwise there would have been a lot more Peltasts giving their lives there. And we see the same Hastati unit coming up on a wall, trying to move around, getting into gaps. As we also see a veteran hoplite finally, for the attacker's perspective, dying. Scutari is definitely doing pretty well here, and 33 kills without losing anyone. There's Silvershield pikemen coming in here now, and without any range from the defenders, this pikeman could spell trouble for that choke point, which is going to push back the defenders a little bit further back, not all the way with one pikeman, but they cannot defend a choke point as small as this when there's a pikeman attacking. And these Roman Syrians are now trying to say, hey, I got this area, and don't try to get in my buddy's pikemen down here. As we see the pikes go down, we also see the other melee units fall back, as we do have a no pike stacking rule in effect. Looks like the Principes are also moving back now, and the Silvershield pike is gonna have a field day getting through these Thorax hoplites that ultimately just have to fall back, and they are indeed. It does seem like the defenders have actually brought up most of their reserves now as well. Yeah, only the Thracian warriors and the victory point. this Roman Syrian have been able to stay alive for this long. It's now been joined by a Cretan from Carthage with almost full ammo. So that Cretan is gonna make a huge difference here as far as protecting these pikemen. These pikemen are currently the only unit standing here, which means the attackers have decided to pretty much abandon the choke point in favor of pushing this one with most of their troops. And they are thinning out here, the troops. They are thinning out, which means that they will need like all of the troops that they can to get over here, which makes this pikeman pretty useful right now. Although the pikeman is getting Pila'd by every single troop imaginable that they have left with Pila. These Thorax swords are firing. They have not gotten any kills yet, and I imagine they're going to start getting those kills. This Cretan has not started firing yet. Right now we have a Royal Peltasts winning with 200 kills and 133 of them still left. One with 94 kills. These Royal Peltasts are doing great. Another one with a 181 with 44 of them left. A little bit more human, that one. And it is looking like the attackers are doing a really heavy push with mercenary noble fighters. They're gonna be able to break through, especially if there's Cretans that they're fighting. And it does look like it is Cretans mainly from the defenders, except these Royal Peltasts, so that will need to be reinforced. This choke point is about to be lost once that Royal Peltast is out of there, and it is wavering right now. And they do have two more fresh looking Peltasts and a noble fighter that has 13 left over here, that they will be able to hold back these units, but they also have to consider their flanks there. And speaking of flanks, we have a Scutari that is looking pretty healthy going around the flank, trying to get in on the backs of these Royal Peltasts. And they better commit all of the troops now, because they're not going to be able to defend any type of victory point with these remaining troops now. As we see them chase away the Silvershield pikemen that did not get any kills, but did take all of the Pila and range that they had left, essentially saving these noble fighters who are now getting in, munching down Cretan archers, along with these silver shields with 220 kills, the noble fighters 55 without losing any, barely. Libyan infantry have been doing okay. These noble fighters have probably been nuked because they are looking pretty... No, they've been countered effectively by Royal Peltasts. Counter-charging probably. But these Royal Peltasts are now falling back because the general has realized that if it stays in this engagement, it will die. And these noble fighters currently engaging with the Cretans are going to want to get in on that noble or in that Royal Peltast general. Peltast general have been caught in a silver shield that is exhausted, but we now see Athens coming in, and these Thracian warriors are going to be really interesting to see when they come in. Also, Athens is beefing up this, so we do essentially have a new choke point being formed around here with a Iberian source heavily depleted, a Royal Peltast 89 left, and a Thorax Hoplites. Although now they do seem like they are falling the general units back at least. We still have a brave Royal Peltast killing and getting killed. Having popped the whip, it has gotten a few more kills of these Principes and Libyans, and the mercenary Scutari has probably been trying to peel into backs as we see the Thracian warrior charge into the noble fighters, and the noble fighters are going to struggle, although they are winning. These Thracians getting that initial charge did kill plenty of them, but now they're starting to drop like flies. They need a counter charge. They need a cycle charge here by the Royal Peltasts, and are now going to move out of there, having lost 40 Thracian warriors and killed only 14 noble fighters. So good job by the noble fighters holding that down. And silver shields are getting into more ranged here in Balearic Slingers. We have Scutari standing more holding this choke than actually advancing at this point. They have realized that these noble fighters are going to chew down these Royal Peltasts if they just leave them to that, but are now going to charge into this wall of Thorax Hoplites that presented itself and are going to try to help this Royal Peltasts general, who is now able to fall back and fight more. We have Slingers from Macedon that have been saved, are now going to be able to just unload into these elite troops. They have full ammo, and right now the attackers don't have anything to counter that with over here. The only thing they have is a Cretan archer that is currently wasting ammo on ballista crew that has been running by there. We also have more Rhodian slingers here that are starting to fire. These elites are now in pretty big trouble as they have 2 slinger units with almost full ammo, 3 with another, the Cretan probably doesn't have that much ammo, but 2 full slinger units that are now going to just eat these noble fighters, Scutari and Silvershield, for breakfast. This wall of Thorax Hoplites came at just the right time also. Help these Thracian warriors survive and be able to cycle charge into these troops, which is the only way you are going to be able to create any type of value with this Thracian warrior. They would have been dead already by this noble fighter a long time ago if it wasn't for the Hoplite getting in there too. This Thorax Hoplite is starting to get depleted by the noble fighter, but the noble fighters are getting shot, and now they're getting chased by the Thracian warriors, and are showing their backs to these slingers, and ultimately are not having a great time. Thorax swords trying to get in on Silvershield pikemen here, got attacked by noble fighters who have fallen back, and now we see the Cretan archers trying to get down here. We have a Thorax Hoplite that's probably going to be able to have some fun there, and we still have no use of this cavalry that's just standing outside the gates right now. Very frustrating looking at their teammates dying a horrible death up here. Thracian warriors are getting another charge into these noble fighters. Finally, we have the cavalry is going to get in here, and last hurrah into the archers. They burned down the gate, they sacrificed, and now they're going to be able to have a really good time with archers here now. Probably not enough to win this battle. Who knows though? At this point, this battle could go many ways. So median cav, 75 of them left. They're absolutely smashing these slingers. These slingers are going to be gone in just a little bit by the looks of it. They're still holding on. They did rout one unit. No, this unit of slingers is... Oh, they're so lucky to have this Thorax Hoplite come in. And the median infantry decided to charge into Rhodian slingers. A little bit heavier, but they're still going to struggle against the cav unit charging into them in full effect. And the Royal Peltasts general is trying to save them here, and this cav unit has actually done an excellent job at disrupting the defenders. Very, very heavy front line that they put up here. So the attackers with 2 cav units have now started running amok inside, and we have another charge into these Thracian warriors that would probably stand a chance if they had if they were charged frontally, but are now in the backs against these pikemen too. They're not going to stand a chance. And the Thorax Hoplite here is going to struggle also with the general being able to wrap around. And these cav units have given the attackers another chance at winning this battle. And the medium cav especially has done a great job getting into these ranged units that were still having some ammo. This Rhodian slinger is attacked in the rear now by the general's bodyguard from Carthage, and although the Thorax pikes might get into the shield, Silvershield pikemen, these cav units are now giving the attackers an excellent shot at winning this battle. They're getting into all the soft units they can. This Carthage general has now gone up to 113 kills. The median cav is starting to kill off the Royal Peltasts general. Are winning decisively with 2 chevrons and 64 of them left, 189 kills. We're now out for more blood. Coming for this Thorax Hoplite that's getting charged by a Cretan, and this general and median cav coming into the backs. And we only have 2 units of the defenders left, and it's 2 Thorax Hoplites that are desperately falling back into the victory point. The general being completely fresh with 157 troops and probably full HP as well. was standing out there the entire battle. Towards the end, it came through the gate. It got into the enemy archers. It got into the enemy troops. And it gave the attackers a chance at winning this battle. It is now capping the towers around the map. One would assume that there are better units for this, such as the archers. But this median cav is on fire right now, literally and figuratively. 39 Silvershield pikemen are gonna be the attacker's best chance at getting anything out of this battle, and it's not a bad chance at all. These pikemen will be able to kill Thorax Hoplites without the Thorax Hoplites being able to do anything. So it's just a matter of being supported in the right way. Speaking of which, we do have a median cav maneuver here into the backs of this Thorax Hoplite. Early engagement there, they lost a couple of horses. The general's bodyguard is also getting a little frisky here, getting into the backs of the general Thorax Hoplite. These they're creating a little chaotic environment for the Athens player, possibly getting his micro in trouble here, but he seems to be able to sort it out without taking too many losses. Definitely none on his general unit. And the median cav has already lost quite a few. Here we go with the pikes though, and I actually see the general move out, try to get this arrow tower, because this arrow tower is of course gonna rack up kills whoever holds it, and this is where the defenders will have to make a stand of sorts also. They have to balance between the victory point and the arrow tower. The arrow tower will kill them before they'll be able to do anything, which is a threat they have realized. The horses are cycling into them, doing pretty decently. We have one Thorax Hoplite dead here, probably due to a pike more than a horse charge. Although the general's bodyguard is holding their numbers, the median cav is losing numbers at an alarming rate for them. Cretan archers are trying to get in on the melee. Any back charge you can get into Thorax Hoplites attacked in the rear debuff is going to be good at this point. This tower would be nice to have in your possession. Now this Thorax Hoplite is going to be losing a couple there, possibly. No, they're a sturdy unit. There we go. Lost a couple. If the enemy calves can keep cycle charging into their backs, they might stand a pretty big chance of getting rid of one of the Thorax Hoplites units. There we go. We got 30 of them left. Another charge from this general. Bring their numbers down to a wavering territory. Yep, there we go. Wavering, casualties sustained. And another charge by the median routes that unit from the map, and now we only have the general Thorax Hoplite left against a general's bodyguard with 30, a median cav with 14 left, and a bunch of Cretans that are ready to give their lives for this battle. Thorax Hoplite charges into the median cav, instantly recognizing that it is going to be the weaker units here. It's also getting into this arrow tower, which means the attackers are going to be able to probably cap the victory point if indeed all the units have moved out of the victory point. We do see a couple of the Thorax Hoplites still up in the victory point fighting this Cretan archer. So in this case, they're not going to be able to get the victory point just yet, but the Silvershield pikemen are trying to position themselves in a better position to get these pike or hoplites out of here. And we have cycle charging from the Cretan archers and the general bodyguard. General bodyguard down at 18-17 now. Median cav has routed from the battle. Now we only have Cretan archers, Silvershield pikemen of 35, and a general's bodyguard of 13 left against hoplites. Thorax hoplites, double chevrons with 88, 87 of them left against 35 plus 13 horses. And all the Cretans are 77 Cretans, 46 Cretans. This Thorax hoplite is dwindling in the numbers, and now the victory point is in the defenders' hands. But it won't be enough. Time is running out for them. All the Thorax hoplites need to do right now is stay alive. Carthage general is doing his best to make sure he will not stay alive. And we also can see the pikemen trying to get in on him. Ultimately, this ballista crew won't be able to do that much, but at least they're trying, and the Thorax hoplite is now into the Cretan archers, recognizing them as the easiest unit to take out quick and maybe get army losses triggered for the enemy. The Cretan archers aren't doing that well. The Thorax hoplite is, however, losing slightly. Back to combat even. Carthage general is trying to find new angles in the backs of the Thorax hoplite, which have now popped battle rhythm and is making a brave last stand here, holding on into the last few seconds of this battle. If he holds, and he is now winning against these units. The ballista crew is breaking, the Cretans are breaking. The Carthage general is charging in once more, and the Thorax hoplites are standing strong. Silvershield pikes have popped battle rhythm, are trying to get in there. They're not getting enough kills, and the Thorax hoplites are charging into the Carthage general, breaking the Carthage general, and have single-handedly won this battle for the defenders. Silvershield pikemen won't be able to kill these Thorax hoplites before time runs out. They did capture the victory point, but ultimately they didn't do it fast enough. Very close battle this, and really down to the last seconds. Defenders ultimately did a great job at defending the initial choke points, and attackers, although they did manage to grind through the choke points, they lost a lot of archers needlessly. They lost a lot of troops, 2 archers needlessly, and paid a high price for that later on in the battle. Defenders having more luck in the archer play, ultimately playing a big role in this battle. The archer play from Athens and from the Arevaci Slingers made sure that the defenders could hold for as long as they did. The Thorax hoplites holding down their flank and retreating, most importantly of all, to make that last stand run out of time ultimately for the attackers. The attackers, who maybe should have moved up to the victory point a little faster instead of capturing every arrow tower, which ultimately would not make much of a difference here, seeing as the arrow towers were out of range anyway, except for that one, which was a hotly contested one during this last final stand. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure you continue your siege binge. If you want more of these siege battles, go ahead and subscribe and click that next video.